Jon Jones is apparently back, but do we believe him? He said he was back in the testing pool ever since the announcement that next year the UFC will have an event in the White House. He was asked about his potential return and he said that he can't promise anything, but he wants to. He was then asked about his potential opponent and he said by his own accord that he wants to fight whoever is the heavyweight champion at the time. And he said right now it's Tom Aspinall, but you just never know what can happen. So my question is, do we really believe that he will come back even if Tom is champion? Let's just analyze every situation. The first situation is that he actually has no intention to come back, but he just wants to stay relevant for another year. It reminded me of what Dan Hooker said about Jon Jones retiring when he was asked by Ariel Helwani. He was asked about how he held up the division for 8 months, and Hooker just basically said it's a selfish sport and it's in his best interest to stay relevant and keep getting those endorsement deals, all those sponsors, all those appearances, rather than just retire and no longer be heavyweight champ. Basically, he wasn't wrong for just milking it as long as possible. So, is that what he's doing here? Now for the next year, he will still be discussed. For anybody that was happy when he retired and thought they wouldn't have to hear about him again, you were completely wrong. You will hear about him after every Tom Aspinall fight. My only problem with the theory that he won't fight Tom Aspinall because he's scared of him, well, that will just bother him even more now if he doesn't fight. He could have just retired and let the heavyweight division move on. But now, if Tom Aspinall is still the heavyweight champ, do we still believe that he'll come back? Because let's be honest, Jones knows how dangerous Aspinall is, and if he doesn't want to fight him, but he'll fight somebody else, does he actually expect him to lose? Of course it's a fight and anything can happen, but if he truthfully had to answer who he believes will be heavyweight champion this time next year, I believe he thinks it's Tom Aspinall. So if he's put it out there that the reason he's coming back to fighting isn't because of the belt, it's not because of the money, but rather that he just needs a new challenge and something to get excited for, and the White House event is just that. He wants to be a part of something big. When you think about massive events like Rumble in the Jungle, he must think it's going to be talked about like those events, and he wants to be the guy to headline that. You must remember, Jones has a massive ego, as do most fighters, and you probably need that to be successful in the sport. But for Jones, I truly do believe that it is legacy over money. I know you can obviously say that him not fighting Aspinall hurts him more than losing to Aspinall, but he obviously doesn't view it that way. He turned down the biggest payday of his career because he doesn't want to take a loss. He wouldn't be able to live with himself, I think, if he got knocked out, no matter how much money he got paid for it. I saw Volkanovski talking about how legacy is important to him, but obviously he's fighting for money and most fighters would take the money even if they knew they were going to lose. But Jones just can't do that. He will let the fans live with the assumption that he would have lost to Aspinall rather than prove them right. He's content with that, it seems like. But when that time comes and Aspinall is still champ, how will he say no to that fight this time? If Tom Aspinall racks up another 2 title defenses, he can't use the excuse of Aspinall is a nobody. That's basically what he was saying after he beat Gane and Stipe, that Aspinall is just another hype job who hasn't done anything in the sport. But if he gets offered to main event the White House event, then it's giving him that big new exciting challenge he asked for. How would he avoid the fight this time? I don't know, because I genuinely do think he's doing this because he wants to stay relevant. He wants to be talked about and continue to make money from different avenues other than fighting. Promote his promotion Dirty Boxing. I don't even know if he owns that promotion, but I do know he's associated with it. And the best possible promotion is only going to work if he's still relevant. Or obviously the other reason here could be that he doesn't believe Tom Aspinall will be champion by the time that White House event rolls around. But if he's so scared of him, then does he really believe that somebody else will beat him? And why would he be willing to fight the guy who beat Aspinall if he himself believes that he wouldn't be able to do it? I understand it could be stylistically different and more favorable for him to win, but he's still going to be another year older, and he already looked slow in that Stipe fight. He was getting hit by 42-year-old Stipe. If Stipe was able to connect, then he will definitely be getting hit by whatever heavyweight is able to beat Aspinall. He said in one interview that this is something he'd be willing to put it all on the line for. Another thing to add is that Dana White doesn't even seem upset at him. He was on the Nelk Boys podcast talking about how Jones wants to be the main event. And you would think that after Jones not taking the Aspinall fight, after initially telling them that he accepted the deal, just to back out later and then say on Twitter that the UFC knew all along what his plan was, which Dana called a lie, you would think that maybe Dana wouldn't want to discuss him, but he still seems open to it. Now, as far as do I want to see this? Yes, I do. We can be happy that Jones is no longer champion and isn't holding up the division, but come on. We have seen how this division looks. It's easily the worst division in the UFC, and where it feels that other divisions have improved in the past decade, every other division feels better now than it was 10 years ago, except for heavyweight. We are having to get excited for potentially seeing 40-year-old Derek Lewis versus Tom Aspinall. That division is cooked. By the way, I have to mention that Derek Lewis being the guy to beat Tom Aspinall would be one of the funniest things in UFC history. I don't know what Jones' end goal is here, but it can only be one of three things. He has no intention of fighting again and just wants to be talked about. He's banking on Aspinall losing and will fight that person. Or he really does want to main event the card at the White House and will fight whoever's holding the title, even if it is Tom Aspinall. Let me know what you guys think is the reason for all of this. Until next time, peace.